President Trump visiting Texas for the second time this week as the massive recovery effort from Harvey gets underway in the southeastern part of the state. The president has proposed nearly $8 billion in federal disaster relief for at least the first chunk. Joining us now to discuss the damage and what the Lone Star State needs from the White House and Congress, Texas Congressman Blake Farenthold. He represents the state's 27th congressional district, which includes Corpus Christi, and which took a direct hit from Harvey. Congressman, thanks for your time. Your district covers a lot of the areas we've seen a great deal of over the past week, like Corpus Christi and Victoria to near Houston. What have you seen firsthand there?
It's amazing the difference in damage. Down here around Corpus Christi, it's primarily wind damage, but you get to the northern part of the district I represent, to places like Wharton, it's rainwater and flooding that's caused all the damage. The devastation is just mind-boggling.
Congressman, with water damage and flooding, there's always a concern about what's in that water and also looking ahead to mold. Are those some of the hazards troubling you going forward?
I'm definitely worried about that. We're going to have a housing issue down here. Fortunately, FEMA is providing temporary housing. They'll get you vouchers for hotels, or if your home is damaged and there's an apartment available, they're working to get folks into apartments. So we're looking for a solution, and FEMA's doing the best they can. But the sheer number of people affected is just unbelievable.
$7.85 billion is the initial request from the White House to help with Harvey disaster relief. The House is expected to move forward on it this week. There has not been much bipartisan cooperation in this Congress so far. What about on this issue?
I can't believe we're not going to get bipartisan cooperation on this. The American people have big hearts, and I think they're going to hold their congressmen and women responsible if they don't step up and provide help to those most in need.
What about the future, sir? Should some folks, and this is a very delicate question, but should some folks who were victims of Harvey be encouraged to perhaps rebuild elsewhere after living through this epic flooding?
I think a lot of people are going to choose to move elsewhere, especially if you're in a flood-prone area. That's one of the ongoing problems with the federal flood insurance program, is we pay for people to rebuild in flood-prone areas. As far as the hurricane goes, it's been 47 years since we've had a hurricane of this magnitude in Corpus Christi, Hurricane Celia. So not sure the windstorm is as much of a problem as the flooding. You can scientifically predict where places are going to typically flood. Of course, this is the 1,000-year flood. This is more rain than we've seen.
Sure. Congressman, this is a new White House team's first test in terms of a natural disaster. It's early, sir, but what kind of grade do you give those folks so far?
I give them a solid A. President Trump was down here on the ground right away, as was Vice President Pence. You're seeing compassion, and I'm talking to my mayors and sheriffs and county judges, and almost all of them are very happy with the federal response. Obviously, there's some glitches, but it's gone pretty well.
And the coordination, sir, between the federal government, the state government, and local governments, has that gone pretty well?
Again, I'm very impressed. Governor Abbott has been on the ground with the president and the vice president, the state emergency management. I've got the cell phone number, the coordinator, so when I get problems that might be state, we're able to call them. A lot of what I'm doing is rattling cages when something isn't working right. First few days, had a lot of calls. Since then, the job's getting done, and volunteers are stepping up. For instance, today in Rockport, thousands of people from Corpus Christi, which was not nearly as hard hit as Rockport, are over there cooking food and clearing brush.
Incredible community spirit there in the great state of Texas. Congressman Blake Farenthold, we thank you for your time, sir. We wish your constituents a speedy recovery, and I'll see you back on the Hill.
Thanks. Unfortunately, it's going to be about a year before we get back to normal here.